In-depth movie highlights here again. Tapping in with another one. Make sure to leave a like and sub. The movie highlights don't stop. The movie begins with an advertisement of a revolutionary cosmetic product known as beauty water. Apparently, one can transform their wrinkly and old skin into a youthful one by just dipping their body into this water. They can also reshape their skin and turn into a model. Then, we are introduced to the protagonist, Yeji, a depressed girl in her late 20s, who believes that everyone in the world dislikes her. Yeji was a smart and talented girl during her childhood days, and she even won a lot of awards. However, because she didn't fit the beauty standards, her confidence went down and ultimately hit rock bottom. Now, she has become an obese person who has given up all her hobbies just to avoid attention. She lives with her old parents and has no friends to talk with. For a living, she works as a junior makeup artist at an advertisement company. Unfortunately, even at work, she has no respite. The top model of the company, Limi Ryul, constantly bullies her in front of everyone. Yeji is even asked to cover her face with a mask, so that her hideous face doesn't scare anyone. One day, as the entire crew is busy with Mi Ryul's makeup, suddenly, a good-looking newbie actor, Ji-hoon, approaches them. He is there to take part in an advertisement, and Yeji is immediately drawn to his personality. Ji-hoon greets everyone in the room, including Yeji, and even compliments her beautiful and unique eyes. However, she is too stunned to reply back, as no one has ever greeted or complimented her since eternity. Just then, the arrogant Mi Ryul starts hurling objects at Yeji, ordering her to get out of her sight. Yeji is humiliated and she immediately rushes outside. Then she sits on a bench and starts cursing Mi Ryul. She hates everything about the self-obsessed actress, including her surgically modified face, her fake smile, and most importantly, her arrogance. Meanwhile, the handsome Ji-hoon joins her and offers her a napkin to wipe her tears. He then sympathizes with her and agrees that Mi Ryul is a horrible person who only thinks of herself. With his words, Yeji feels a bit better and starts opening up. Surprisingly, Ji-hoon asks her to do his makeup right here. The latter gladly obliges and begins doing her thing. Later, at the advertisement shoot, the director approaches Yeji and informs her that an actor has not arrived, so she will have to take his place. All she has to do is eat some food, and in return, she will be given a lot of cash. Yeji agrees, and after the lead actors perform their roles, Yeji starts eating like it's her last day on Earth. At night, she heads to a department store with her hard-earned cash and buys herself a good treat. But unfortunately, it is evident that even the cashier doesn't want to face her because of her bad looks. This demotivates Yeji slightly, but not enough to ruin her good mood. When she reaches home, her mother scolds her for being late, but Yeji could care less and she locks herself in her room as usual. Then she sits next to her computer and starts exploring a community forum where people have gathered to express their hatred towards Mi Ryul. Yeji seems to be an active member of this community, and she has a lot of fun reading the hate comments. She even types some sentences and starts laughing like a maniac. This shows how much she hates Mi Ryul. However, her laughter instantly turns into disbelief when she comes across some embarrassing pictures of herself from the earlier shoot. Some people comment that she looks like a monster, who should be locked up inside a cage. As expected, this breaks Yeji and she loses it. Several weeks pass by but she is still locked up inside her room. Yeji has no motivation to work or continue living, and all she does is eat and sleep. Her worried parents request her to come out, but Yeji doesn't even talk to them. One night, as she is about to sleep, she suddenly receives a text from an anonymous person. The text mentions that she has won a beauty product for plastic surgery. But Yeji, who thinks the text is a scam, throws her phone away and goes to sleep. To her surprise, the next day, she gets a parcel at her doorstep. Inside, there are 2 bottles of beauty water, an address of the sender, and a flash drive containing instructions on how to use it. Beauty water is the same cosmetic product that was advertised at the start of the movie. Yeji starts watching the tutorial video where an obese lady like her is explaining the procedure. One has to pour the beauty water in a bowl and then dip their face in it for 20 minutes, no more and no less. As the tutorial goes on, Yeji is left in utter disbelief when the lady's fatty face starts withering away. She then grabs a knife and remodels her face. At the end, she transforms into a stunningly beautiful girl. Yeji is taken aback by what she sees, but because her entire life has been a failure, she wants to try the product. A few moments later, she finally gets out of her room, but now as a changed person. Her face has transformed into that of an angel, but her body still remains the same. This is because there was only enough beauty water for her face. Now, realizing that the product actually works, Yeji craves for more and heads to the address that she found in the parcel. After a bit of walking, she reaches a sketchy apartment and goes to the 7th floor. She then reveals her name to the CCTV camera, and after a while, the door opens. Inside, she meets the same lady who is advertising the beauty water product. Her name is Gina, and she is a perfect woman when it comes to appearance. Yeji is stunned by her beauty and requests that she be transformed in the same way, but Gina mentions that everything has a price. She discloses that about 30 bottles of beauty water will be required to transform Yeji's entire body, and this will cost about $200,000. Adamant on changing herself, Yeji returns home and demands her parents to provide her with the amount. Hearing the number $200,000, the parents are taken aback and refuse to comply. However, Yeji, who has now become obsessed with the product, threatens to do something drastic. She also guilt-trips them by stating all the incidents when she had to suffer alone, because her parents were never there for her. In the next scene, Yeji returns to the sketchy apartment with a bag, and it appears as if she was able to convince her parents. She hands over the money to Gina and so the procedure begins. She is placed in a bathtub filled with beauty water, and Gina starts remodeling her body with a knife. When she wakes up, she has transformed into a gorgeous woman from top to bottom. As soon as Yeji reaches home, she hugs her astonished mom and promises to be a good kid from now on. But the very next second, she asks for $5,000, mentioning that she has to get good clothes to match her new looks. Then, Yeji goes on a shopping spree and spends way more than she was supposed to. With the days passing by, she starts becoming arrogant and alienates herself from her parents. She also changes her name to become a completely different person. But in truth, she starts turning into the person she despised the most, Real. However, Yeji also starts making a name out of herself. Using her newfound appearance, she gets popular on social media and dates a bunch of rich guys. One day, Guy invites her to an exclusive party, and Yeji immediately accepts to go because she knows that all the popular and rich models party there. Later, she arrives at the place and stuns everyone with her good looks. The boys are flabbergasted while the girls are jealous. However, when Yeji notices some actors on the other side of the swimming pool and tries to go there, Guy stops her, mentioning that only VIPs are allowed there. This makes Yeji realize that being pretty simply won't get her everything. Shortly after, as she is exploring the place, Real's director, Han, approaches her and offers her his card. He explains that her good looks will certainly attract a lot of viewers in the advertisement business and asks her to give it a try. Yeji knows Han personally as she had worked for him as a makeup artist. But still, she simply responds, "I will think about it." At home, while Yeji is contemplating whether she should take up the offer, she suddenly realizes that she is gaining weight. At the same time, she starts hallucinating her former self, who used to be ugly and obese. Alarmed, Yeji rushes to the bathroom and decides to take another bath with beauty water. She sets an alarm for 30 minutes on her phone, and then gets into the bathtub. As she closes her eyes and relaxes, she has flashbacks of the bullying she experienced during her childhood days. Unfortunately, at the wrong time, her phone battery dies, and the alarm doesn't go off. Yeji wakes up several hours later, only to realize that her body has decomposed to the point that it's no longer recognizable. She tries getting up and screams for help, but her body can't support her weight, and she falls back inside the bathtub. After a while, her mother arrives and gets terrified to see her in this state. She quickly calls her husband and the two decide what to do next. Suddenly, the mother remembers that the beauty water can also attach flesh to a person. But the problem is that Yeji's flesh has completely melted away, and there is no way to attach it. So, left with no options, the parents decide to make the ultimate sacrifice. They give away large chunks of their flesh and attach it to their daughter's body. After a while, Yeji finally wakes up. She is still disfigured and scary, but at least she is alive. While the parents are over the moon, Yeji is terrified when she sees herself in the mirror. So, without wasting any time, she gathers whatever money she has and returns to Gina, in an attempt to regain her lost beauty. Unfortunately, the money is just not enough and Gina refuses to help her. This devastates Yeji and she begs to do anything that is asked of her. Gina, being an evil person, makes her lick her feet. In the next scene, the procedure begins but Gina only fixes Yeji's face and hands. When the latter wakes up, she is confused and angry at why her entire body has not been transformed. Gina replies that the money was only enough to change her face and hands. She also explains that human flesh is very hard to find, so its value is high. However, Gina, who still doesn't want to give up on her dreams, begs for the operation. She promises to pay the money later, when she becomes a popular actress. When Yeji continues begging, Gina becomes angry and calls her a pig. The word triggers Yeji and she starts having flashbacks of all the bullying she experienced in her lifetime. Hence, in a fit of rage, she attacks Gina and the two start tussling. It is a fierce fight that swings both ways, but at the end Yeji gains the upper hand and kills Gina. Following this, she dissolves her body into the beauty water, and later attaches it on her own. Now, Yeji has regained her lost beauty, and she looks just as stunning as she was a few hours ago. Meanwhile, a news report states that several girls in their late 20s have gone missing as of late. One of them is the popular actress, Mi-ryul, who suddenly left her job and has become contactless since. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yeji starts working in the same advertisement company and slowly becomes their best actress. Now she has everything: good looks, fame and money, something she had always dreamt of. However, she still cannot shake off the guilt of murdering someone. One day, while Yeji is buying stuff from a convenience store, she stumbles into the handsome actor from earlier, Ji-hoon. The two strike up a conversation and start seeing each other often. Yeji is still infatuated by Ji-hoon because he supported her and made her feel happy when everyone despised her. On the other hand, the latter is oblivious that the girl he is talking to is actually the fat makeup artist he had met several months ago. Days pass by and the two begin dating. Yeji is now living the best version of her life, but yet, she is haunted by her past. One day, while she is alone, she starts hallucinating and sees that her body has started wilting. Terrified, she rushes to her bathroom and prepares to use the beauty water. But for the procedure to begin, she needs some flesh. Hence, she threatens her already weak and skinny parents for some flesh. But when they start crying, Yeji has a change of heart. She then looks into the mirror, and it finally dawns on her that she was merely hallucinating. That night, Yeji goes on another date with Ji-hoon, and the two spend some quality time together. Out of the blue, he takes out a ring and proposes to her, which she happily accepts. After this, the two head to Ji-hoon's apartment to have dinner. Yeji notices his family picture, which strangely doesn't have him in it. There are his parents, his beautiful elder sister, and his average-looking younger sister. However, Ji-hoon explains that his younger sister is his favorite. After a while, he heads to the kitchen to prepare food while Yeji starts touring his house. She stumbles across his room and notices a package. On opening it, she is horrified to witness a few bottles of beauty water. Yeji investigates the room further and finds the belongings of all the girls that have gone missing recently. This finally makes Yeji realize that the killer is Ji-hoon, and that he is after her now. Terrified, she tries running away, but Ji-hoon catches her and knocks her out. When she wakes up, she finds herself inside the bathroom, tied upside down. Then, Ji-hoon steps forward and reveals himself as the same ugly daughter in the picture. He explains that all his life, he was ridiculed and chastised for his bad looks, so he changed his gender and transformed into a man. But it still was not enough. This is when he learned about beauty water and its magic. He started using it on a regular basis, and kidnapped a lot of girls, including Mi-ryul, to satiate his flesh demands. Ji-hoon further reveals that the girls were carefully selected on the basis of their features. In fact, the whole advertisement company is set up to attract beautiful girls and lure them to him. Mi-ryul fell for it, and now, Yeji has too. It turns out that Ji-hoon knew she was the same makeup artist all along. He was amazed by her beautiful eyes the moment they met, and had decided to add her to his collection. The same eyes gave away Yeji's identity. Saying this all, Ji-hoon grabs a surgical knife and takes her eyes out. He then carefully joins them on his legs. Now, Yeji has become a part of him, just like several other girls. The movie ends as the cunning director, Han, finds another attractive woman and gives her his visiting card. Don't forget to like and sub. We got more heat.